Purchase new wiper blades from O'Reilly Auto Parts today and we'll install them for free. See better and drive safer with O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly.
You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So our podcast is called Right and Wrong.
Are these your notes?
These
These are your notes about what we're going to say?
Anything.
Nailed it.
Is the short answer.
So how many novels did you not finish?
Oh my god, so many.
It was perfect. What's she talking about? This is nonsense.
Ooh, a spicy question. I love it.
This is it, guys. The big secret to getting published is you have to write a good book. You heard it here first. Hello, and welcome back to the Right and Wrong podcast. Continuing on with our partnership with the Romantic Novelists Association, I am joined by the Head of Education and Community at ProWritingAid, the official sponsor of the RNA Industry Awards 2022. Hi, Hayley. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for coming on. Let's start off with, we're recording this the weekend after the awards themselves, and you were there. I was there last year. How was it? How did you find the event?
Oh, it was so much fun. It was just like such a great opportunity to see a bunch of people who love romance writing gathered in the same room and just having a blast. So I was so thankful that I could be there.
It is a great event. And let's talk about ProWritingAid, official sponsor of the awards. For me and everyone listening, what is ProWritingAid? What's it all about?
Yeah, so ProWritingAid, we like to say it's like a grammar checker, style editor, and writing coach all in one kind of automated package that you get. But since most people who listen to your podcast, I assume, are writers or aspiring writers, where ProWritingAid really helps is kind of the copy editing portion of your writing journey when you're really paying attention to word choice and sentence structure and really how you can use language to make your writing as effective as possible. So ProWritingAid does like the basic spelling, grammar checks that you'll see in like something like Google Docs or Word, but then it will also do more in-depth checks on things like sensory words, on pacing, on sentence length, on how many sticky words you have in your sentences. Really, again, to just make sure that your copy is as clear and concise as possible so that it's ready for readers.
Oh, okay. So presumably it'll also flag if you use a certain adjective lots and lots of times or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a repeated words check and an echoes check, which are two of my favorite reports because I tend to repeat myself when I'm working on my own fiction projects a lot. So those are frequent use by me.
What's the echo check then?
So the echo check looks for, so the repeats check looks for like all repeated words or phrases from 1 to 4 words. The echoes check looks a little bit more specifically at the like distance between repeats, if that makes sense. So you can kind of, if you have a premium subscription to ProWritingAid, you can customize it to be like, I want to see all of my repeated phrases within 100 words or something like that. So you can kind of set custom distances. So it's really more, it's about the specific kind of proximity a bit more than just like, have you repeated this word or phrase a lot of times, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. Yes. Because obviously if you were writing a novel, which might be fiction, then you may wish to be repeating phrases, but they might be spaced out.
Exactly.
Quite a lot. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And at certain points, you want to make sure that you're not repeating yourself within, 50 words, because that's going to set off that kind of echo in the reader's mind. That's like, oh, did they just say this? Whereas, like, again, exactly as you said, you will likely be repeating some words and phrases throughout the entire manuscript. It helps narrow in on making sure that distance is what you want it to be.
Okay. And you mentioned that's something that you can get as part of the premium subscription. How does the subscription work? Are there lots of tiers?
Yeah, there's actually only two, right? Well, there's three. We have our free version is available for everyone, and you can use all of the reports. So repeats and echoes, like I just mentioned, those are available on the free report. But what you can do if you go to premium is you can customize it. So we set echoes at like a standard word count length. But if you're at the premium tier, you can customize that so you can make the word count length that you want to measure against, smaller, larger, something like that. And we basically give you the opportunity to customize your reports a bit more at the premium level. So you can access the vast majority of our reports at the free level, but once you go premium, you turn on additional features again to kind of customize those. So for instance, you could at premium decide that you don't want particular rules to apply in dialogue. So you wouldn't see, corrections on usage of cliches or grammatical errors or something like that in dialogue. You would be able to customize your repeats and echo settings. We also offer author comparison, so you can compare your work to well-known authors in your genre, which is a very fun, fun feature. So we have the free version, which is again, all the reports are available, except you can't customize them quite as much. And there's a 500 word count limit. Then if you go premium, you can check an unlimited amount of words. You can customize your reports. And then we also have a premium plus, which basically does all of that, but adds on plagiarism checks if that is something, if you're a student writer or something like that you're concerned about.
Is the free version, is it a sort of trial, or is it literally
it's free forever? Yep.
Free forever. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can try it for as long as you want.
Exactly.
Decide how you want to do it. Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
Exactly.
And you yourself, Hayley, you are a writer.
Yes, I am. Yeah. I've been writing for basically as long as I can remember. I started writing fan fiction as like a, little 8-year-old, and then have been writing since then. I've been writing for professionally since I was about 23. I've done a lot of blogging. I've worked on creative nonfiction projects for clients. And then I've drafted several fiction manuscripts, but I haven't started querying any of them yet. So hopefully sometime soon.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
And so as someone who has been writing for a long time now, and presumably has, I would guess from ProWritingAid, you have a fairly good understanding of the layout of the industry.
Yes.
Do you use ProWritingAid for your writing?
Yes, I do. And I don't just say that. It really has made me, I think it's probably the second most impactful tool or person on the craft of my writing. So when I first started writing professionally when I was about 24, I had an editor who would always flag unclear antecedents. And she did it in every single post, every single article that I turned into her. And it was really helpful. And it kind of stuck in my mind that I had a habit of using unclear antecedents, et cetera. And so ProWritingAid has basically done that for me. And it's done it automatically and it does it in everything that I write. So, a couple things that it just fixes for me all the time are, redundancies. Like if I'm using the same or similar adjectives that mean the same thing, it has broken me of my adverb bad habits and really helps me use stronger verbs and adjectives. And I say this quite honestly, I use it in every single thing I write, from emails to fiction pieces. And I manage a team of writers now for ProWritingAid. And I can always tell if one of our writers has not used ProWritingAid. And I'll be like, please go back and run this through, because, you have some redundant language. It's a little bit too complex, things like that. So yeah, it's really, really valuable. And like I said, it's customizable for basically everything that you're writing, from an email to a fiction novel.
Yeah, of course. And obviously I will always gravitate towards fiction because that's my home. That's where I live. But it is also, as you said, a business tool for sort of industry related stuff. What you mentioned when we started, that for fiction writers, it's going to be a large portion of the sort of copy editing part of the process. But so what else does it offer in terms of, doing business or industry related stuff?
Yeah, totally. So you can customize, even at the free level, you can set your document type. And when you set your document type, you get specific goals for whatever type of project you're working on. So like we mentioned, that could be a fiction novel, and you could say, I'm working on a fantasy novel, or you could say, I'm working on a job application or a business email or a sales letter or a blog post or an academic essay. You can really kind of pick whatever document type makes the most sense for you. And then when you do that, you get custom suggestions that are related to that particular document. So if you are working on a fiction manuscript, you might have suggestions related to sensory words, which are not likely going to be as important if you're working on a cover letter or a resume. So then if you're working on one of those, you'll receive suggestions that relate to style, grammar, spelling, but also things like, I, you linkers, or phrases that link the company to you, or phrases that it'll say, hey, you should add something that explains how you're going to be valuable to this company, or things like that. So it really gives, again, those kind of custom suggestions for whatever that is. If it's a sales email, it might say, you need to link the customer to the company more, or you need to have a better benefit here. So again, it has that kind of those same basic core reports for all of them, which are, again, going to fix and find grammar, style, and spelling errors. But then you'll also get custom goals dependent on the specific document type that you're writing.
Right. Okay. So you kind of enter the goals beforehand.
You enter your document type, and then we populate the goals. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I wonder, as someone who uses it for both nonfiction and fiction and business work stuff, what do you find that the sort of the errors, the sort of the things that flag up are very different across those different things?
Yeah, I find that the errors are very different. Again, we probably have, I would say, 4 to 5 goals that are in common between them, but then there's a lot of customization that happens depending on the document type. So again, for CV, they'll have power verbs, or, we, you linkers, or something like that. Whereas for, fiction, it would have dialogue tags with adverbs. So it really does customize based on what you're writing. And then I also find that my process of using ProWritingAid is really different depending on what I'm writing. If I'm writing for work, I will use it pretty much as I'm writing, particularly if I'm using an email. We have a real-time checker that works, as it sounds, in real time. So it gives you feedback at that moment. But if I am working on fiction, I will not turn it on until I'm actually ready to edit, or else I won't get anything done because I'll just be going back and looking at all the suggestions. So when I'm working on fiction, I will likely only use it after I've completed a draft. I try to be as regimented as possible about just writing and not editing, and approaching writing and editing in separate stages. I'm not always as good as that as I can be, but yeah, I'll use ProWritingAid particularly when I write fiction later on in the process, whereas I have it on all the time for emails and work stuff.
Instacart shoppers know groceries. They know that you can't make guacamole with rock-hard avocados. They know how to quickly find those peanut butter pretzels you can never find. And they keep you in the know by giving you updates about your order along the way. Let Instacart shoppers help take shopping off your plate so you can get time and energy back for what really matters. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply. Instacart. Add life to cart.
Sure, of course, yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what sort of fiction are you writing?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of everything is the answer. I have a fantasy manuscript that I've been working on for a really long time that I would love to share with the world at some point, but I have a lot of, writerly angst about it. And then I also have like a fun romance novel, which I will likely query more sooner, just because I feel a little less attached to it. And then I'm doing NaNoWriMo right now, actually, with one of my ProWritingAid colleagues, and we're working on a fun crime novel that's loosely inspired, very loosely inspired by our company.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so that's pretty eclectic. Usually people
I'm trying it
there's
all.
at least some crossover.
Yeah,
in
I
genres
read
of
widely, and I like to write widely as well. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And have you ever submitted to agents before?
I have not. No, I feel like at this point, I feel almost as if I should, because one of the really fortunate perks of my particular work at ProWritingAid is that I get to meet a lot of agents and work with a lot of agents, and also meet and interview a lot of authors. And at this point, I really feel like I have no excuse except my own angst and nerves about sharing things with folks. That is preventing me. But yeah, I should start.
You're not alone though. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's very common amongst writers.
Yeah.
So with ProWritingAid, in what capacity are you meeting agents?
Yeah. So we are really passionate at ProWritingAid about not just creating a great piece of software that everyone can use, but also just about supporting writers in all stages of their writing journeys. So we offer just tons of free events throughout the year that anyone can attend, whether they're a ProWritingAid user or not. And that's my job, is to organize those events. So this past year, we had about 35,000 people come to 4 big weeks that we had. We had Fantasy Writers Week in February, where we interviewed people like V.E. Schwab and Tomi Adeyemi. Then we had Crime Writers Week in June. We had Sci-Fi Week in, I think it was August. And then Romance Writers Week just happened in October. And next year, in 2023, we're hoping to do one of those events per month. So we're expanding our genres, and really just, we bring in both writers, like I just mentioned. So this year I've gotten to interview V.E. Schwab, which was huge for me. Taylor Jenkins Reid at Romance Week, Andy Weir at Sci-Fi Week. It was truly amazing. And then we also bring in industry experts, so folks like agents, editors, and then also book coaches and developmental editors and copy editors to teach workshops as well. So it's really just such a fun time. And yeah, like I said, my job is to kind of organize those events and host them.
Wow.
So I feel very lucky.
Yeah, those sound great. And you must meet some amazing people doing those.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the sort of what's the format for that kind of thing? Like, is it a big space that you rent out, and then
we actually do them all online, so anyone can access them. So if you just head to our website, ProWritingAid.com, you'll be able to see what events we have coming up. They're all online. They're all via Zoom. They're free for everyone to attend. And then we leave the replays up for 2 weeks. So if you can't make it during the week itself, you can check them out afterwards. And if you would like long-term access, we have a way to purchase that as well. But yeah, they're just on Zoom, which is really fun. It makes it, I think, easier for the authors and the folks that we have come speak, makes them more willing to come. And then it allows us to really open it up to a broader range of people to attend as well.
Oh, very cool. So what's the next one coming up?
So we have our first creative nonfiction, so memoir event coming up in January. Then we are also booking for Fantasy Week, which will be at the end of February. And then, like I said, we're hoping to have one a month next year, which will be really exciting. So yeah, lots
very
coming.
Cool. And I mean, it's a lot of genres that you're going to have to go through if you're going to do one a month.
Yes, it's a lot of, I think we're probably not going to, the ones that we've done this year and in 2021 were all a week long each. We probably won't have them be a week long each for 2023. We'll probably do, I think, the 4 pillar ones that I just mentioned. So fantasy, crime, science fiction, and romance will all be about a week. And then we'll do some shorter, 1, 2, 3 day events in the off months between them. The memoir one is going to be a 2-day event rather than a week.
Sure.
Just because, at this stage, I have other parts of my job as well. But maybe in the future, this will be the only thing I do, and that would be great.
That'd be exciting. Wouldn't it? You've got me thinking now. So ProWritingAid, you're trying to sort of help people out at every stage of the sort of writing journey.
Yep.
Do you, when you were talking about the formats, when you open up the program and you choose what sort of thing you're writing, do you have a sort of submission outline?
We don't, but we should. We should also have a query letter on it. Yeah, we should have both of those things because, as I mentioned, I struggling with those myself. So it would be great to have those. Yeah.
A synopsis one, maybe.
Yes.
Synopsis.
Yeah.
It's so hard to write a synopsis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We really need, and that's one of the, I think, great things about our program is that we're adding, I think we probably added 15 different document types this year, and we'll just keep adding more as we go to make it as useful as possible. I think, one of the things, I'm obviously biased since I work for ProWritingAid, but I think one of the things that does separate us from some of the other competitors out there is just that our whole team, or most of our team, are writers and are really passionate. It was built, our CEO built the tool because he wanted to become a fiction writer and needed something to help him. And that kind of ethos has really permeated basically everything we do. It's kind of like, well, what do people want? What are folks struggling with? And how can we build something that will help them with that? Very cool.
Yes, I'm a big fan of organizations who are built from sort of writing groups that are built from everyone is a writer. So everyone kind of understands the problems, the issues, the journey, what's good, what's bad, what could use some help.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And before I get on to the final question, I was looking up your website, and I have to ask, do you run an adult-only Harry Potter convention?
I did. I was like, oh no, what website? I did for a long time. Well, not for a long time, for about a year and a half. Yes, I did. My college roommate, my university roommate, is a screenwriter and in Hollywood, and she just she randomly for one birthday decided that she wanted everybody to come in costume and do this stand-up Harry Potter skit. It was maybe her 21st birthday or 22nd or something. And so they did that. And then it became, we went to school in New York, and it became a big enough thing that the next year she invited more people and charged $5. And then somehow she got a contract with Live Nation to take it on tour, and I signed on to help her manage it. It was a very weird period of my life, but very fun as well.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Was it just a sort of big open field and everyone was dressed as wizards?
We did them actually in performance halls, and so it was more of a stand-up comedy, I think, event than a con. So you would do we had stand-up comedians come and host a sorting, and then costume contests and do skits and stuff like that. So it was really fun. It was it was a very wild time in my life. We eventually ran a bit afoul of Warner Brothers and then shut down, but it was fun while it lasted.
The adult only preface was made me think maybe Warner Brothers wouldn't like this.
they were not thrilled, and it was a very scary phone call that I got, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is we didn't mean for this. It's totally fine. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I still own I have a shipping container somewhere with just thousands of wands, chopsticks that we used to make wands,
like you do.
Yeah, exactly. A giant chess set, all those things that you never know when you might use.
Yeah, you never know.
Exactly.
Awesome. But that sounds great. What a wild and exciting thing to have experienced.
Yes.
Which will probably never happen again because Warner Brothers will be very strict on it now.
Yeah, no, there's no I would never want to try to do anything with Warner Brothers, Disney. I'm okay, you guys do whatever you like.
Okay, amazing. Well, that does bring us on to the final question, which, as always, is, Hayley, if you were stranded on a desert island with a single book, which book would it be?
I thought a lot about this, and then as I was preparing for this, I was trying to find if there was one copy that existed that combined the two books that I wanted to take, because it's a duology. I don't think there's an edition that combines both of them. But I was looking for something that combined the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo into one. But I don't know that there is one copy that just has one of them. So I would take Crooked Kingdom, which is the second book in that duology. But if anyone has a complete copy of both of them and then is sending me to a desert island, I would
just
take
you
that.
could just take the spines off,
Exactly.
put your own rebind.
Yes, I would sew them together. Yeah, exactly.
Just duct tape will do the trick.
Perfect. Exactly.
That's great. I mean, Six of Crows is so iconic. And it was one of those ones that Book Talk is obsessed with.
Yes. Yeah. I've loved it for a very long time. And I'm glad that Book Talk likes it as well.
You feel vindicated.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing. A great choice. I think the first time that we've had that on the desert island, so an original as well.
Great.
Well, thank you so much, Hayley, for coming on the podcast and telling us all about ProWritingAid, as well as your sort of experiences with writing and, of course, the Harry Potter convention.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. And for anyone listening, if you want to keep up with what Hayley is doing, you can follow her on Twitter at Hayley Milliman, or follow ProWritingAid at ProWritingAid on Twitter, and on Instagram it's at ProWritingAid.insta. You can, of course, head over to the website www.ProWritingAid.com. And to make sure you don't miss an episode of this podcast, follow us on Twitter at Right and Wrong UK, or on Instagram and TikTok at Right and Wrong Podcast. Thanks again to Hayley, and thanks to everyone listening. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Purchase new wiper blades from O'Reilly Auto Parts today and we'll install them for free. See better and drive safer with O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.